So, it's 2:16 in the morning, but I've just discovered something, um, and I just had to tell the world. Um, I've the Santa Claus trilogy starring Tim Allen. It's 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 all a lie, and I finally understand what's happening, what's going on. I filled in all the plot holes. Um, the elves are evil. Um, they they want to absorb children's Christmas spirit to use it for their own magical purposes. I don't know what they are, but they're definitely not good, and I can explain perfectly. So, um, it starts. Tim Allen kills Santa Claus. He falls off the roof, and then Tim Allen has to become Santa Claus. The weird thing is that when he shows up to the North Pole, none of the elves seem to care that past Santa is dead. This is a common known thing. Everybody talks about this like it's a big joke. Why does no one care that the last guy's dead? It's because the elves are evil. They're like, last guy's dead. Who cares? Now we have Tim Allen, and that's what they wanted all along. Okay, because in in this second movie, the actor who plays Father Time is also the actor who plays Tim Allen's boss in the first movie. Father Time was scoping them out, probably working for the elves. That's how far this goes. The elves have Father Time working for him, or maybe they're tricking Father Time. Father Time probably thinks the elves are the good guys, helping out in case, like, oh no, Santa Claus is dead. We've got Tim Allen instead. Father Time is probably a good guy. The elves are just deceiving him. And so they're like, Tim Allen's the guy we want. We're gonna set it up so that he's dead. They probably like had the reindeer make him fall off the roof. Maybe there was an elf hiding in the sleigh, you know. And so Santa Claus is dead. And Tim Allen picks up a card and it just says wear the coat. So he does it, but then there's the clause, the titular clause, at in small print at the bottom. It's like, by the way, now you're Santa, and you're gonna have to live forever as Santa, and you have no choice. It's a freaking curse. It's placed upon them, and they don't have any say in the matter. Okay, and it's messed up. And you know the question of where did this clause originate from? Who was the first Santa? Well, it wasn't who was the first Santa. It was who were the first elves. The elves created the clause. They kidnapped probably Saint Nicholas, and they used him like they're trying to be powerful magically, and they realize that children's happiness and spirit are a great energy source for magic. And they were like, let's kidnap and brainwash a human being, Saint Nicholas. Everybody loves this Saint Nicholas guy. And then they use him to to absorb more magical energy, and then it just keeps going. If a Santa Claus either dies horrifically because it's dangerous to ride a flying sleigh, or a Santa Claus outlives his usefulness and the elves kill him, then they just get a new one who is better to serve their cause. um and they've been doing this for thousands of years. And in the second movie, there's also another plot hole. It's revealed that Santa Claus needs a wife, or else he can't be Santa Claus. And it's like, where was old Santa Claus's wife? Like, what was up with her? Well, he didn't have one. The elves are making this up as they go. They're like, why don't we get another human soul to feed off of? Let's make it up. Hey, bud, you need a wife. It's very important. Go get one. And that wasn't in the original clause that old Santa had. By the way, old Santa was a terrible Santa. Every adult in the movie is always complaining about how they never got what they wanted as a child. You know, Tim Allen's ex-wife and her husband, they never got what they want. There's a part in the second movie where there's a whole scene where there's a room full of adult people, and they're all playing with the toys that they never got as a child. Like, nobody got what they wanted because old Santa was doing a terrible job. That's probably why the elves got rid of him. Or maybe the elves, you know, the elves didn't want him to give out all of the correct presents because they're just like, do whatever you want. But then, they realize that that's no longer working. It's not like the 1800s where anybody could get a wooden horse and they're happy. Humans wanted more stuff, and they're like, this old Santa isn't doing what we need him to do anymore. Let's get Tim Allen. Tim Allen's a businessman. He'll know what to do. And so they kidnap and brainwash Tim Allen and force him to have a wife. And it's just messed up. And what does that wife have? A baby. That baby is definitely going to be the next Santa Claus. And the clause states, oh, if thou kill Santa, you will become Santa. No, it doesn't. That's just what the elves told you on that particular day, okay? They're probably just going to kill Santa, or maybe make him sick magically, or make him die of old age, and then it's like, oh, looks like you're Santa now, little baby. And that baby is going to have grown up in the North Pole. He's going to be perfectly brainwashed because he grew up around all of these elves. That was the elves' master plan. That's why they randomly decided that Santa Claus needs a wife, even though the previous Santa didn't have one. And you're like, oh, these elves, they can't be evil. They can. And you're like, oh, these elves, they're all just little children. How could children be bad? No, they're not children. They just age very slowly. We've seen older elves. The teenage elves who are in charge, I forget their names, but like the black curly hair one, he is obviously older than the rest of the elves. And so is the one who replaces him. And also, why is he replaced? Why does no one talk about where this guy is? He just disappears. It's because, for some reason, when elves get too old, they just, like, kill him or something. Because we don't see any old elves. Except one. And I'll get to that. So like, oh, this one's too old. Get rid of him. Get the next most experienced elf, who also happens to be the oldest. And so elves do age because we obviously see different ages between them. And the oldest looking ones are in charge because they have the most experience. But then they're killed when they get too old for some reason. It's not perfect, okay? But it is. And every single problem in the movie is because of the elves. Whenever Santa Claus doesn't know something and it's really important, it's the elves' fault. When the elves accidentally tell Jack Frost how to become Santa Claus, that's the elves' fault. Like, it's freaking messed up. And all the evil that happens is the elves, because in the second movie, the bad guy is Toy Santa, who was made by the elves. And so they're obviously evil, and then, they take down the Toy Santa army at the end, but that's just because Santa Claus finally got a wife, and it's like, okay, we can stop with this ploy to try and hurry things up for Tim Allen. And then in the third one, who's the main bad guy? Jack Frost. And Jack Frost is an elf because he has pointy ears. And sure, he has frosted tips. Maybe he just has pointed ears because they go with the tips. No, because when he gets warmed up by the little girl, who's probably magical, and his hair gets all flat and brown and stuff, he still has pointy ears. He's an elf. He's an old elf. He's the only elf who's managed to not, disappear or die when they become a teenager. And the elves probably hate this. He's the bad guy, and the only reason they can't kill him is probably because all the other magical people, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, they're like, oh, that's Jack Frost, we know him. Yeah, he's great. And so if he suddenly disappears, they're gonna start asking questions. And so the elves can't kill him. So that's why he's the only one. The only old elf. And, I mean, it all makes sense. It explains the deal with old Santa. It explains why he doesn't have a wife. And it also explains why all the elves are super cynical and cause all the problems in the movie. Um, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. So, that's about it.